Awesome. Okay, so we'll get going with this is our final session, our fourth session of the Into the Body series. And hey, Ariel. Um, yeah, and this whole series is all about different tools and techniques to get out of our busy minds and feel good in our bodies. So this is coming from my background training experience as a mindfulness meditation teacher, as a yoga teacher as well, but also just from my own lived experiences of what I found has helped me. And I find that when I sort of share from that place, it's usually more relatable and a little more potent. Um, and so in the first three classes, we talked about the different attitudes of mindfulness. So we know mindfulness is paying attention in the present moment with a non-judgmental attitude. But there's also this beginner's mind that we spoke about. How can you be in the moment with a beginner's mind? How can you be in the moment with patience, with kindness, with compassion? And we did leave out, if you were in class 2, we left out gratitude. And that's what we're going to return to today, is this idea of appreciation and of gratitude, because it's not just being present, it's also how are we being present, with what attitude, and we'll tie that into the body as well. So yeah, how many of us have we've witnessed somebody who we know has gone through like so much challenge and pain, whether it's the history or something they're going through right now, but they still can be so positive and light and genuinely content and happy. I've definitely seen people in my life like that, who have suffered a great deal, but still have this optimism and positivity about them. And ancient wisdom, as well as modern psychology, say that one of the sort of secrets, Tara, thank you for reminding me. If anything resonates, pop a few pluses in the chat. It's almost like we're giving each other a little nod, just so we can kind of connect as we speak. Yeah. So one of the sort of secrets to that is actively looking for what's going right in our lives, actively looking for what's good in our lives. It's appreciation, it's practicing joy, it's practicing gratitude. And our brains have kind of evolved for survival and reproduction, rather than for happiness and peace, unfortunately. In order to survive, our brains are sort of wired for detecting threat. And so we oftentimes put a lot of our attention, and we spoke about this last week, but we put a lot of our attention on what is going wrong versus what's going right. So noticing and giving time to really appreciate what's going well, it doesn't come naturally for like most people. And personally, some days that's much easier, and other days it seems actually like impossible. And if I were to try and appreciate the moment when I'm overwhelmed, it might feel fake or forced. But in that moment, if you're ever so overwhelmed you can't appreciate what's going on in the present moment, that's a signal that you need to slow down and rest. You need to consider finding something to like relax the body and the mind, and that's kind of the gateway towards gratitude, kindness, appreciation. So there's a few layers here with appreciation. It's one thing to just think about, I appreciate the roof over my head, the food that I'm gonna had for dinner tonight, the people in my life. Like we could rattle off things that we appreciate in our life. But it's another thing to feel it in the body, to feel that level of appreciation and gratitude on a physical level. And that's something that we're going to work on in a moment in our practice, is actually feeling into, because that's even more potent. And even that sensing makes it more habitual. So like I said, the gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness is actually, it's a skill and it's a choice, and it's something that we can practice. It doesn't come naturally for most of us. So when we do put it into practice, yes, saying it in the mind helps, but feeling it in the body is like next level. And that's what we're going to work on. And that's something to remember. And there's this lovely description, I'm just going to pull it up, of appreciation. I'm going to read it to you. Appreciation involves a certain innocence of perception in which we override our tendencies to judge or to rely on automatic, familiar ways of seeing the world. So this little side tangent, this is talking about the beginner's mind, seeing something in a new way. So it's something that we can learn and develop. Yeah, like I said, we have the word mindfulness, but we also need to include the words joyfulness and gratitude. So I just want to mention something about joy. So joy is different to happiness in the sense that joy is kind of subtler. It's more internal. It's more consistent. And it's actually closer to a sense of peace and contentment than happiness. Happiness usually is externally triggered. Someone else does something kind for you, you receive a compliment, you get a gift, whatever. So something that you receive, and it's a little more outwardly expressed versus inwardly felt. And joy isn't about getting sort of overly sentimental or overly excited. It's when we do, it actually takes us away from the joy, if that makes sense. So when you can really keep it in this internal, really connected place. And my point being is that joy arises when we make peace with what is, when we can appreciate what's happening in the present moment. So I always usually find this in nature, where I'm walking and I see dew on the grass in the morning, and it just looks beautiful. And that's a moment of appreciation, of joy. Or if you can see the stars at night, or little moments between a friend, or maybe you're eating something delicious, and it's just this really intimate, internal, personal experience. So yeah, it's indulging in a way in what is actually happening in the present moment, and it's felt on a very visceral, physical level. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, a lot of our unhappiness stems from our judging mind. When we look at something or someone, we look at something and we want it to be different, or it's different than how we expected it to be. You know, how many times have you had an expectation of how something's going to go, and then it was totally different and you were so disappointed? It's because there was some level of not accepting what was and judging it because it's not how you thought it would go. So yeah, rather than seeking joy from the external stuff, the practice that we'll explore today, and meditation at large and mindfulness at large, is about finding the joy within, finding the joy in the little things, and feeling it on a very physical, internal level. And once again, it's a choice, and it's a skill, it's to be strengthened just like a muscle. And it might feel a little funky if you've never done sort of a classic gratitude practice before. Um, it might feel a little funky, and that's normal. But the more that you do it, and the more that you train your mind to see the good that's going on in your life, the more good things will arise. It's like where our attention goes, our energy flows. So when our attention is on all the things that are not going right, unfortunately, you're going to have more of that. When your attention goes on the things that are working, you're going to have more of that. It makes me think of when I have, like, say I get a cold or something and my nose is all stuffy. I'm like, the first thing I think is, oh my gosh, I didn't appreciate when I could breathe through my nostrils. So breath work for me, when I can breathe in and out through my nostrils, I genuinely take a moment to appreciate that, because it's not until you're sick that you often realize, oh gosh, I wish I could breathe through my nose. Gorgeous. So we're gonna do, it's kind of like a 2-for-1. We're gonna do 2 practices back to back, 2 little mini practices back to back, and then we'll leave some time for comments and for questions. Share, yeah, how the practices went for you. Okay, so the first one I'm going to teach is our 10-finger gratitude practice. And so you can just sit comfortably, and you can let your hands, let's just say, let the hands rest on the lap. And you can choose to do this practice with the eyes open, or it might help to close down the eyes. And right now, we're just going to take a few deeper breaths just to relax the body and the mind. So deepen your next inhale. And take a long exhale. Just do a couple breaths like that. So you're slowing down the time it takes for you to inhale. And then lengthen your exhale, and imagine you're just letting any stress of the day go. Another full breath in. And full breath out. So now, with your right hand, I'll have you just hold on to your left thumb. And as you hold on to your left thumb, you can just relax your arms, your hands on your lap. Notice the feeling of your right hand holding onto your left thumb, so that physical sensation of touch. And as you just hold the left thumb, I want you to think of one thing that you can appreciate in your life right now, one thing that you're grateful for, one thing that is going right, that is something you can appreciate right now. And of course, we can just name it in our brain, but I want you to really feel it in the body. And then you'll go to your second finger, your pointer finger, and hold on to that finger as you think of the second thing that you are grateful for. And it can be super tiny, like your breath. You're going to go through all 10 fingers and just travel, holding on to the finger with the opposite hand as you think of something you're grateful for. And I'm going to give you a couple minutes, so don't rush this process, and try to take a few breaths, feeling into that sensation of appreciation. And just finishing off the next few fingers, next few rounds of breath. If you haven't gotten through 10, that's totally fine. You can return to this later. And sometimes there's only a couple things we find that we can appreciate, and that's okay too. Wonderful. And then we'll just let that practice go. And we can flutter open the eyes if you have them closed. And I want to integrate all the stuff that we learned around presence and mindfulness, appreciation of more of the being mode versus the striving mode, more of the sensing and feeling versus the thinking and analyzing. And we're going to take all the concepts that we explored and we're going to apply it to very, very simple mindful movement. And we're going to stay seated in the chair, seated wherever you are. And we'll cultivate all those sort of attitudes of mindfulness as we go through gentle movement. And this is not about how you look. It's not about how far you can stretch. It's not about anything to do about the external. It's actually all about how you feel as you move. And when in doubt, do less. Okay? So the first movement we're going to do is slowly turn our head over the right shoulder. And then you're going to slowly turn your head over the left shoulder. And you might choose to close your eyes as you do this, or you might enjoy the eyes being opened. And see if you can bring your attention to the movement at the back of your neck, specifically at the top of your spine. And imagine this movement can become even more effortless and free and spacious. And then we bring the head gently back to the center. And now visualize a paintbrush or a pen or a pencil at the top of your head. And we're going to draw this circle in the space above you. So start to circle as if you're drawing with the top of the head, a circle right above you, like a halo. And as you do this head circle, move slowly. And notice how this feels with that beginner's mind, as if you've never done a head circle ever before. And then circle in the other direction. And as you bring your head back to center, relax the eyes and the jaw and the cheeks. And start a few shoulder circles. So just enjoying, luxuriating, indulging in these circles. Make them yours. It doesn't have to look like mine. And then reverse the circles here. And then this is one of my favorite easy stretches. We'll take one arm up. Let's say your right arm up and over. And as you stay here, deepen your breath and imagine you could just expand the right side of the lung and the breath and the rib cage with your breath. And appreciate that you can move your body in this way, that you can breathe in this way, that you can stretch in this way. And then we'll come to the other side. So left arm comes just up and over. Breathing in. And breathing out. Wonderful. And as you come back through center, we'll just take an easy twist. So just twist, whether you're holding onto the chair or your own leg or however you're seated, just find a little twist as you look over the shoulder behind you, taking a deeper breath in and a deeper breath out. And then let's take the arms up and reach up and let yourself kind of take up space here. And we twist to the other side. Taking a deeper breath in and a deeper breath out. And then you take your arms up as you come up through center, breathing in. Take your hands into this prayer shape and bring the prayer shape down into the heart space. Exhale. And keeping the hands here for a moment, I want you to invite your whole entire body into this next movement. So your feet, if they're on the earth, let them press into the earth. Your hips on the chair, press into the chair. We'll sweep the arms out to the sides and up. Breathe in and feel your whole body in this movement. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's try that a few more times. Inhale, arms reach out to the sides and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Twice more. Inhale, arms out to the sides and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Once more. Inhale, out to the side. Reach a little further out. Reach a little further up. Press down into the hips, into the feet. Hands to the heart. Now rest your hands anywhere on the body that feels intuitive and supportive and nourishing. That might be the heart. That might be the belly. That might be giving yourself a hug or a squeeze, but bring the hands anywhere on the body. Closing down the eyes, sensing your breath. And contemplate what showing up as your full, whole self feels like. Not leaving any parts behind. Taking a deeper breath in. And a deeper breath out. And relax the hands down, fluttering open the eyes. Yeah. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy those two practices. The gratitude practice, there's something really special about actually feeling the sensation of holding your own finger as you think about the gratitude. It can help take the thought and embody it, which is really what this course is all about, being in the body, mind connected, not separate, right? So moving with, we just did a teeny tiny movement practice, could have gone on for much longer, but moving with all those attitudes of mindfulness, moving with presence and enjoyment can be incredibly therapeutic. So thank you for those of you who tuned in live and for those of you watching the recording. And if you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat. Otherwise, you can always email me. It's my name, lilybonch@gmail.com. And we also have a Substack, the Morning Ritual Substack, where you can kind of keep in touch, and I'm working on building more community there. So I think I've set up an offer here. I'll share the offer to join the community. So it's just a 30-day free trial. You can check it out, see if you like it. I share more practices in there, combination of audio and video and written word. So yeah, check it out. And yeah, we have, how do I get the recordings? Okay, so Sarah, I will, to all the people who've registered for Into the Body, I will send you all 4 recordings. And I'll also be publishing them to YouTube. That might take a couple weeks, a week or 2. But Sarah, you'll get them in your inbox regardless. Awesome. I'm so glad you enjoyed, and I hope that you all have a beautiful rest of your day, a wonderful week, and see if you can have moments of appreciation, really tiny moments of appreciation throughout your days. Just try it out and see what it does. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. Oh, Carlos. Yeah. So just to everybody, my email, I'll pop it in the chat. It's my first and last name at gmail.com. Wonderful. Alrighty. Have a nice day, everyone.